everybody.
Sorry about that.
How perfect was that for the theme we're going to cover today? Am I supposed to take care of this myself?
You want to give us Kate, Peter, give us a hand?
Okay.
Okay, where's yours?
There
This
you
one?
go. Mm-hmm.
Okay, do it. Voilà.
So then I go here.
Yeah. Look, it doesn't work. Just in case, we can also use the arrow.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. When I was reading the happy life here, it talked about us going the first step, do whatever is simple, whatever is at hand, and let the first step take you wherever you're going to go. It just lines up with what we're going to talk about. It is great to be here. I feel privileged that we are able to get back. We were able to establish a protocol that is safe enough that we can do. So this is a continuation. Every month we do the meditation series, and we try to incorporate a little bit of meditation with some of the sayings of Spiritism. And today is that day of the month when we go there. And towards the end, I have a fun exercise for us to try. I'm super excited about it. But this is actually like a continuation of our last month's talk. For those who didn't get a chance to see it, we talked about the power of visualization. When you know in your heart and your mind is thinking ahead of where you want to be, you create your future, you create what you desire, you create from the point of already being there, from the point of abundance. And I see some heads nodding, yes, because we are all energy. We know that we create what we think, we become what we think, we create. So we manifest what we think. So it goes for the good, it goes for the not so good, and it goes for the ugly. So it's our choice where you want to be. And of course, we're going to explore the best way we can to always try to go towards the more enlightening, the more lighthearted things that will get us where we want to go. So when we talk about ready, set, go, the one thing that happens, it's going to work. Imagine that. We think about a goal. What is a goal? A goal is a dream, but it has a deadline. Because we can dream. We've always been, one day I'm going to do whatever it is that you want to do. Let's say I want to take a sabbatical and visit this one area of the States. I'll visit the California coast for 6 months. That's what I'm going to do. And you dream about it for 30 years, 40 years, but you'll never get to do it. For you to actually make it happen, you have to visualize it, the reason why you want to do it, and then you have to set something in play, a specific plan for you to get there. So when you have a deadline, you have better chances of succeeding than just dreaming. You dream, but you don't really have any foundation to support your dream. Because we are very good at dreaming, and it's not that we fail to plan. We plan to fail. We fail to plan, right? We just don't plan enough. So we end up not getting our dreams accomplished. We're not disciplined enough to make things happen. So what we're going to do today is talk about some strategies to get our goals aligned with our hearts and try to visualize them from the point of abundance, from the point of already happening. That's how we manifest things. And how are we going to link this to Spiritism today? We're going to trace a parallel to the parable of the sower. And it was really cool to see that when we post the vignette, and he just went right to it. Doom. I was like, okay, somebody was in tune with what I had planned. For those who are not familiar with the parable, it talks about this man, this person, this human being who is walking around, and he is sowing his seeds into the soil as he walks. And the way I interpret this for this talk is like he's representing us going through life. And as we walk our journey, as we experience our life, our struggles, our accomplishments, our joys, and our sorrows, we keep on spreading our seeds around as we walk. And we walk through different geographic situations. Sometimes it's super easy, smooth, no obstacles. Sometimes it's a little hard. Sometimes it's upstream. Sometimes it's up very steep, like an elephant on rollerblades. You know, it's just like, we're not going to make it happen. So it depends on where we go. So we go through different times of our lives. We go through different situations. And when we think about this person, us, walking through life and throwing our seeds and hoping that they will bear fruit, a lot of times we throw them into hard soils. And in a parable, it talks about it sat there. It didn't have a way to go underground and germinate, so the birds ate it, so it just disappeared. That is to represent how sometimes we are so distracted by mundane things, by little things that are not even important. We stay with the small picture. We don't see the big outcome, so we get distracted and we throw the very dear talents that we have in ourselves into nothing. Just throw, and they just go to waste, basically. Because the seed that had the power of bringing all this fruit goes to waste because we were distracted. Other times, we throw them around rocks. And they do start to come up. You know, there is a little bit of dirt. The seeds get to be buried a little bit. They come up. They start to germinate. They start to grow a little. And then when the sun comes, they just don't have enough roots there. The roots are not deep enough, so they don't really survive. And then they wither away. That is when we are staying superficial. We are not, first we were distracted, and now we get to go a little further, but we stay with the superficial level. Most of this is when we are trying to do things, when we set our goals, when we put effort to please others, based on the vision of others. So then, yes, we'll get some results, but they don't last. Because I am doing things so you can say that I'm doing well, so you can perceive me as a good person. So it's always towards the other. So it stays superficial. So these things don't really last. Sometimes we will throw some of our seeds where the thorns will strangle them as they're trying to grow. And that, when the thorns come and start to strangle as you try to rise, it's super painful. And we've seen that when you put all your efforts and you say, my gosh, I put all my efforts, and look at what so-and-so is doing to me. It's making me hurt. It's so painful. I cannot take it. I put all this effort, and I don't see results. Look at everybody oppressing me. I never catch a break. I always get the short end of the stick. This is not fun. And that, I made the parallel here, when we are trying to when we're dealing with the pain, because we are not basing our goals and our objectives that we're going through on our values. We are not dealing with our own values. We are dealing with what you think is right. But again, what you think is right is not what is right in your heart. So it will be painful because you're going to be faced with things that are not really speaking to your heart. It's speaking to the values that are not aligned with you. Okay, you want to accomplish financial goals. It is very legit. We need to accomplish financial goals. But how we go about getting there, stepping over people, doing things that are not quite ethical, or whatever it is. And then when we're trying to accomplish emotional goals, I want to have a well-established life. I want to have good relationship with my family. But as I go about my business, I bulldoze everybody in the way. So all those will create the thorns and the pain that will come back to hurt us. But then there is that beautiful time when we do succeed. Sometimes not as often as we think we do, but sometimes we throw the seeds into very fertile soil, and then the magic happens. Why does it happen? Because we are now doing this from what is aligned with our values, with what makes our heart sing. We're talking about the things that makes us happy and is important to us. Why do I choose to have a healthy lifestyle? Why do I choose to exercise, to do things that make me live longer? If I'm doing this so everybody can see that I am, in good shape, it's different than when now. I've always been that person. I strive to do well with my health, lifestyle habits, but now I have an extra reason to do so. Now I have 2 beautiful babies that I want to see grow. And now I need to live to be 103 because I have all this stuff in my head that I need to see them do. So now I have to look after myself even more so. So it's coming from my heart. So when I set goals for my healthy habits, it's coming from a place that really speaks to me, that is fertile soil. Like for all of us, we all have something that really speaks to our heart, and that is when the magic happens. So this is what we're going to try to do today. Come up with some strategies that makes the magic happen. And the magic is just by being aligned with the values that live in our heart, right? So here we go. This, if you look at the first letters here, the acronym will say real. The goals, when we're setting goals for our life, they have to be real. Let's construct real here. When we say it has to be resonant, it has to speak to you. As we said before, this is why the parallel with the parable works well. When you're doing things that speaks to you, it's real. When you do things that it speaks to somebody else, it just doesn't last because you're doing things to please others too, so the other can perceive you differently. So that's when it doesn't work. But when you do decide when you define your goals and they're based on what you believe in your heart, it resonates with you. So you have an emotional connection with that goal. Halfway already done because you have an emotional connection. You are invested in that goal. Right there, it makes the goal easier to achieve. Not easy, easier. It's still going to be a lot of work. Like everything is worth getting is going to always be a lot of work. But because it resonates with you, you're already vested. You can get there with more purpose. It has to be empowering. It has to be something that you can tell yourself, I can do this. Look at me getting there. Look at me. So you can tell yourself that you are accomplishing because it is empowering to you. Sometimes other people might say, you're crazy. You're never going to make it happen. This goal is way, you crazy. It's just not possible. but in your heart, you know. We've seen, if you go on TED Talks, you see all these people talking about all these millions of people that told them, you're crazy, and they still went through with that dream, with that goal, with that vision, and they succeeded. They always say, it wasn't easy, but I was sometimes alone trying to follow my path because nobody believed me. Once they accomplish, everybody praises, everybody believes. But during the ride, during the journey, a lot of times you are alone. You have to find strategies to motivate yourself because people might think you're crazy because your goals might be a little too much. You're too full of yourself. So one way to do this, you can do like a pie chart. Let's say I have 5 weeks that I want to do something. I made it a little more colorful so it was going to be easier for you to see. But you can do it even on a piece of paper or on your whiteboard. So, okay, you manage to define a goal that's going to take 5 weeks or 5 months or 5 years, whatever it is that you want to do. So let's assume that this is a 5-week plan that I had. So when at the end of that first week, I'm going to write myself, I got this. And then at the end of the second week, I can write, Superwoman, I got this. And I keep this where I can see it. And then I say halfway through it. And then at the end, I'm going to say, nailed it, got it, made it happen. This is one of the strategies that you can do, but you can do things like on your calendar, you mark it green, you color it, highlight, and you can actually visually see your progress. But again, the first reel is already there to take you here. You have to have it, have the power to be within you to do that. Then it has to be actionable. So it has to be divided in small chunks that you can accomplish. Because if you're not specific enough, you get lost in the big idea, but you never really accomplish. So let's see. If your goal is to buy a car at the end of the year, so you know what you want, you know how much it costs, and you know how much money you're going to have to save. As simple as that. That isn't easy to come up with. But when your goal is something more emotional stability, dedicate more time into clear mind, that is a little more subjective, and so many variables can play here. So one way that we could do this would be, I am going to assign 15 minutes 3 times a week just to be with myself doing breathing. Just that. Okay, it's Monday. You didn't do it. Oops, I was busy. Then it's Tuesday. Oh, I didn't do it. By Friday, you had said that you need 3 days of the week to do this. By Friday, guess what? Now you're going to have to do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But you still have room for wiggling a little bit. So when you say, from now on, I'm going to dedicate, like the New Year's resolution, right? Every day I'm going to give myself 1 hour to do meditation. Okay, I've never done any of that. And here I go. Guess what? It's not going to happen. It's not small chunks enough, and it's not part of my habits. Even though it speaks to me, it's not actionable because I have it too broad. Every day there's way too many days that things are going to go up and down. But if you have 3 times a week, if you get a 4th day there, bonus, great. If you get a 5th day, better. But the idea is to keep it in a way that you can keep on accomplish. Because then by the end of that week, you're going to be able to come here and cross it, done. Instead of go, oh, I didn't do it because my goal was too big for what I had in mind. So it has to be lucrative. Not financially necessarily, but what is in it for me? What do I get by going through this goal, by accomplishing what I set to accomplish? Okay, the goal about getting clear-minded. Now that I have what is in it for me is that I'm going to be calmer. I am going to be able to understand when things come my way and not be so reactive. So guess what? Everybody wins. My wife, my husband, my children, my grandchildren, my boss, my employee, everybody wins because now I'm calmer. I'm dealing with things in a better way. So what is in it for you is whatever makes you accomplish that goal from the heart and makes you deal with life, again, more gracefully. This is always the goal. How we can deal with life more gracefully, be it financially, emotionally, health-wise, everything that you, whatever goal is it that you are trying to address, that's how we're gonna go about it. So just remember, the cost benefit has to always be what is in it for me. This is why I keep on striving to get that goal. The vignette that we put on the website about this, I had done this because I have that habit. I have a little dish that when I have a goal, every time I do something towards that goal, I give myself a marble. And then when I see that little dish getting fuller, I feel, okay, I'm getting there. And then when I don't do so well, I kind of take a marble out. I'm like, oh, didn't do so well. But that gives me perspective. Like I'm getting, my goal is when I accomplish all the things that I had set to accomplish, that little plate is full and I lift it up with such joy because I am visually seeing my goal being accomplished. So it's a little strategy, but it works really, really well. When we know why we're doing something, it changes the game. We can transform the goal, the objective, all this into a way of living. It becomes your lifestyle. It becomes your way of addressing life. So one of the things that we talked about here is the importance of having the goals, the objectives of life, all the things that you want to accomplish aligned with your values. And we've talked about this before, but I'm going to bring it back because it's super important. I am living proof that this is super important. If you go to what are my values? Oh, value is, for me, is family, faith, courage, compassion. There are hundreds of different values, but they all intermingle. They all have something that connects with the other. So it's important that we decide and define the two most valuable values that we have that resonate with us. Because everything else, all the other values, they will support it. But once you know the ones that really speak to you, it's so much easier to navigate your life and you go, oh, look at me sabotaging my value here. And then you pull yourself back. Oh, this is against my value because now I have it defined. There is an author that I really love, Brené Brown, and she has, if you go on her website, she has a list of values that you can print. And her suggestion is that you get the list and you circle the ones that talk, the ones that speak to you. And then usually it's going to be like 10 or 15. And then you try to sit with it until you come up with 2. It took me 4 days, but I got it to my 2 values that really speak to me. And that made it so much clearer. Because now, when I am veering off my value, I can really recognize it and pull it back. Of course, I fall off that wagon a lot. But I hop back a lot easier because I have a better definition of what my values are. One of my values is accountability. And I never used to pay attention on the patterns of the way I treat people. If you tell me you're going to do something and you don't do it, oh, the resentment just sits in and I am done with you. I don't care how much I love you. It just sits, and it sits hard with me. Now I understand why, because when I tell you I'm going to do something, I will do. That's my value. So people that are not very that I cannot hold accountable, they tend to walk away from me. They don't stay in my life very long. So it makes it clear for me when somebody bothers you, you say, oh, I can't stand being with this person. Sometimes it's your vibe doesn't go with that person. It could be that. Sometimes you don't see things eye to eye, just have different views of life. But a lot of times it has to do with that person sabotaging your values. So it's really a good thing to be familiar with your values. So I'd really encourage you guys to take a look at the values, circle the ones, and figure out the ones that really speak to you, because it will help you go through life. And when you look at the parable, we're going to still throw our seeds distractedly into place that they're not going to grow. We're still going to do it. We're still going to go through some painful not growing seeds because of our choices. We're still going to throw some that was going to look like they're going to grow, and then they decide not to grow anymore. But we're still going to be striving to find that fertile soil that will give us what we need, that will support our values, and will help us be better people. And when you stick to your values and you use them as your compass, you tend to grow morally a little faster, because you are always giving yourself feedback. Wait a minute, I didn't follow my values here. No, I need to regroup. So when you go to bed at night and you are revisiting your day, you see, there was some sabotage here. I didn't follow my value. And then you say, tomorrow is another day, and I'm going to do better. Then I'm going to be able to address this better, because, again, you are more defined in what your values are. Does anybody have any questions regarding this? Any comments? Yes?
How do you spell the author, Brene?
Brene, B-R-E-N-E,
Okay.
and Brown, the color brown.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes. She has great things about finding yourself, knowing yourself, and she's really good with that stuff. What I had planned today is a very fun exercise, but I need everybody to be ready to play the game. You have to really come with me. We're going to talk about a meditation that requires you to become a seed. It is fun. It has potential for you to explore something really, really good inside you. So how I normally do this, we try to bring ourselves physically into a small fetal position, for lack of a better word. So some people just visually imagine themselves contracting and being there. Others really go down and tuck themselves in and hug themselves to feel that space of being trapped into all your potential inside that seed. There's all these possibilities, but you are inside that seed. And because once a month our lecture is about meditation and learning strategies, so we are going to do it in a form of meditation. So we're going to get all the lights really dark, because when you are a seed, everything is dark and you don't get to see much. And I'm going to invite you all to close your eyes. If it's hard for you to keep your eyes closed, I understand, you can look down. But it works best when you are removed from this and you become that tiny little seed. Okay? So before we go there, let's just take a very deep breath, move your body around, get all the moving kinks out, because once you are a seed, you won't get to move very much. Move, stretch, deep breath, exhale. Let everything go. Expand as much as you want, because a seed won't expand much. The one thing I'm going to ask As we go through this meditation, I would like you to keep your eyes closed. You can invite movement as I walk you through it. You can invite movement. It's okay if you start adding movement to what I'm saying, but it would be best if we keep our eyes closed. Deep inhale, closing the eyes, hugging yourself, tucking everything in. We tighten up, finding ourselves in this very dark, cool place. Everything is so quiet. Everything is so tight. It's even hard to breathe. But I do know my values. I do know what speaks to my heart. This is so tight, but my mind observes it. My mind imagines. My mind knows the potential that lives inside this tight, small little seed. Still very hard to breathe. I hear some sound. It is like the wind starting to blow. 1 foot above me. Things shift slightly, but it's still very tight. It's getting cooler. Must be night. I hear thundering. It's far, but I think I hear it. Yes, I do. I hear it. Getting louder and closer. The wind is picking up, and the thundering is much closer. Maybe it will rain. Is that rain? I feel the space getting a little wet. All around me is a little heavier. I guess it's wet. Oh yes, definitely rain. heavier, cooler, and I can breathe a little better. Feels like I can expand a little bit. Oh, this is great, being able to breathe just a little better. And I feel soaked. It helps me move. The soil is softer. I can wiggle. I can move. There I go, slightly moving left, slightly moving right, and even a little upright. I take a deeper breath. The rain doesn't stop. Things are getting a little warmer now. Is it my impression? Maybe it is daytime. I feel the warmth coming my way. Could it be the sun? Oh yes, it is the sun. And it's inviting me to move a little more to the left, a little more to the right, and quite a bit upright. Yes, it's inviting me and I keep on moving. A little more sun. I shift and I shift, and something really shifts inside me. I put pressure upright, and now I am blind with all this light. My feet grow deeper. My hands grab the sides, but my head is popping up. I can breathe out. Yes. And I start to grow. The days now are happening so much faster. It is day, it is night. Every day I get taller. I get to spread to the left, to the right, and quite a bit upright. I smile, I stretch, and I look inside. My values are still there, still a big part of me. I grow tall and taller, and a little bit taller. Now, I'm no longer a seed. I am this plant that comes from a seed that was planted in fertile soil. I breathe with ease. The wind moves me softly. I am grounded in my values. I know my potential. I know I can grow. And I watch the leaves grow, the limbs grow. How did I become this big? And my values are still with me, rooted firmly, supporting me. I see some flowers popping around, and some are turning into fruits. I smile big. Imagine that. I was so tight, could hardly breathe. And here I am, watching myself so tall, so well rooted, and looking at the fruits of my growth. I smile again, and I know that I can be here, breathing with ease, rooted in my values, and enjoying the fruits that I helped produce. I breathe in and out. I stay tall and firm. I am ready to share the fruits of my life with the ones that pass by, the ones that might need my help, the ones that are hungry or are looking for shelter or are looking just for a place to admire the scenery from a shaded area. We stay here, grateful for the opportunity to go from seed to a tree that bears fruits to help the ones around. Slowly, we open our eyes. We come back here, keeping that seed, that tree, alive inside us, rooted in our values, always going to the left, to the right, and always upright. Are we getting back here? There we are. All these grown seeds. how did we do? Sometimes it's hard to be a seed, but when we grow a little taller, life gets a little better. We just have to remember that.